The U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr has taken the unusual step of authorizing federal prosecutors to investigate possible irregularities in the presidential election. His move follows days of attacks on the election process from Donald Trump, so far without any credible evidence. Meanwhile, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has started assembling his team to prepare for taking over the presidency at the end of January. David Willis reports.
Joe Biden is wasting little time preparing for his ascent to the White House, announcing the lineup of a task force to deal with an issue that could dominate the early days of his presidency, the coronavirus. And holding his first call as president-elect with a foreign leader, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. As that call was taking place, Donald Trump, who since the election result was announced has only been seen on the golf course, was firing his Defence Secretary Mark Esper, terminating him, in the words of the president. It's thought other high-profile administration officials could soon follow Mr. Esper out the door. The president has yet to concede the election, and his team is mounting legal challenges in multiple states. The top Republican in the U.S. Congress told lawmakers Mr. Trump was fully entitled to contest the outcome.
The core principle here is not complicated. In the United States of America, all legal ballots must be counted. Any illegal ballots must not be counted. The process should be transparent or observable by all sides, and the courts are here to work through concerns.
And after meeting with Mitch McConnell, the Attorney General, Bill Barr, announced that the U.S. Justice Department would be involving itself in investigations into voter fraud. That, as the president set about attacking his former ally, Fox News, and other media outlets, accusing them of tampering with the election by broadcasting polls that he said had been inaccurate. Fox later cut off the White House press secretary as she sought to explain Donald Trump's refusal to concede.
You don't take these positions because you want an honest election. You don't oppose an audit of the vote because you want an accurate count. You don't oppose our efforts at sunlight and transparency because you have nothing to hide. You take these positions because you are welcoming fraud and you are welcoming illegal voting.
Well, I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this.
It all points to a messy and rancorous transition period with less than 10 weeks to go before Inauguration Day. David Willis, BBC News, Los Angeles.
Well, let's get more on this probe into alleged voting irregularities now from Shara Torres-Spellacy, who's Professor of Law at Stetson University, joining us now from St. Petersburg, Florida. Thank you very much for talking to us on BBC News today. Your reaction, first of all, to what William Barr is doing, escalating the legal challenges from state level to federal level. What is this going to mean for the transition?
So the Department of Justice always has the ability to look into allegations of fraud in federal elections. But, pardon me, so far there is no evidence of widespread fraud.
OK, and in fact, in this letter to prosecutors, William Barr, urges the idea that, they shouldn't be investigating fanciful claims and doesn't mention any evidence of irregularities himself. A previous guest we spoke to said that that was just to provide him with some kind of cover, and that, in fact, he is trying to basically enable, in his words, President Trump to kind of delay the transition. I mean, would you agree with that assessment?
Trump seems to want to litigate a win that he couldn't get at the ballot box. So far, the American courts have dismissed almost all of his cases. So I'm confident in the courts. I am less confident in what Attorney General Barr is up to.
OK, you're confident in the courts. Does that mean the Supreme Court as well, if it was to get to that level?
I think so. Number one, it may not get to that level because the U.S. Supreme Court has control over its docket, which means that it doesn't have to take all of its cases. And traditionally, it has turned away 90 to 95% of the cases that ask for cert, which is asking for the Supreme Court to hear the case.
Now, Joe Biden at the moment is going about his business in the way one would expect a president-elect to do. But with Donald Trump yet to concede and these legal challenges continuing, how is that actually affecting the transition compared to what would be happening in, say, more usual circumstances?
Well, there's nothing in the Constitution that requires the loser to concede. But I think it would be much better for the country if Trump conceded. And it would be much smoother for the transition if Trump conceded.
It means, though, that the Biden-Harris team, they're not getting access to certain federal funding and certain, information, intelligence information, for example, that they would be expecting to be able to see right now.
Yeah, it's down to a GSA bureaucrat who has not signed a particular letter. In her defense,
the GSA, for anyone who doesn't know what the GSA is, that's the General
Service Accounting
Administration, I think.
Yes,
yeah, I did look that up last night just to be absolutely sure. So basically, they have to sign something to say that the transition is happening effectively.
Exactly, and because of these ongoing court cases, it may not be entirely clear to that bureaucrat that we have a clear winner.
Okay, what happens then if this goes on for quite a few more weeks? We get to the date where the Electoral College meets. Donald Trump potentially is refusing to accept that he has lost, hasn't conceded. There's never been a situation like this, has there? So, what actually happens? Is he eventually going to vacate the White House, or is someone close to him, perhaps a member of his family, going to persuade him that that's what he has to do if, none of these cases come to anything and, no evidence has been presented so far?
So constitutionally, the man who gets 270 Electoral College votes will be the next president. That does not look like it's going to be Donald Trump. So whether he concedes or not, he cannot stay in the White House.
Okay, it's going to be very interesting to watch how the next few weeks unfold there. Professor Shara Torres Spelliscy from Stetson University, thank you for your time.